Have you ever felt like you spent years trying to think your way out of anxiety? You read the books, you practice gratitude, and you try to stay positive, and yet the pattern remains? Today, we're going to look at the root of that. We aren't just talking about stress management, we're talking about unlearning the invisible architecture that governs your life. We're going to explore why anxiety isn't a personality trait, but an inherited script, and how we move from intellectual understanding to nervous system release. For those of you who don't know me yet, my name is Aurelia. I'm an energy healer, and I'm so glad to have you here. So let's dive right into the heart of it. So most people think anxiety starts in the mind. It doesn't. Anxiety is a nervous system state. It's an internal frequency that's been running in the background for years, often since you were a child. You cannot think your way out of a state that your body is physically trapped in. The moment you stop treating anxiety like a bad thought and start treating it like a stored emotional memory, everything changes. Stop trying to reason with your nervous system. It doesn't speak logic, it speaks safety. We often think we are anxious people. We define ourselves by our reaction to the world. But as we explore today, I want you to consider that you're not an anxious person. You're a person who learned anxiety as a survival strategy. And the most important thing to know is this, that what was learned can be unlearned. And today we're going to walk through the journey of how to do that, moving from awareness to understanding, and finally into integration. You didn't choose the patterns you're living in. Your identity was installed before you were 7 years old. You absorbed the emotional climate of your home like a sponge. Even if you grew up in an environment of tension, your nervous system learned that safety looks like being on guard. You aren't failing at life, you are following an inherited script. And the anxiety you feel today, it's not yours. It's an old program still running in the background of your nervous system, reacting to a threat that no longer exists. So take a moment to check in with yourself. Have you ever noticed that you worry about things before they've even happened? That's not a lack of trust in life. That's your nervous system doing its job. It's trying to predict the future based on the past. Think about your life for a moment. Where do you see yourself repeating the same cycle? Maybe it's in relationships, where you attract the same dynamic again and again. Perhaps it's in your career, where you hit a ceiling and suddenly sabotage your own success. This isn't happening because you're broken. It's happening because your subconscious mind is trying to keep you in the familiar. Because the familiar feels safe even when it's painful. The biggest mistake people make when trying to heal anxiety is using the mind to override the body. You can repeat "I am safe" 1,000 times, but if your nervous system is in a state of high alert, it won't believe you. Positive thinking cannot override a nervous system that feels unsafe. You aren't lacking discipline, you're lacking somatic safety. We have to address the body before the mind will listen. This brings us to a really uncomfortable possibility that I talk about in my work. The reason change feels so difficult is not because you aren't trying hard enough. It's because the part of you that's in charge right now, your subconscious, is terrified of the unknown. Even if your known is painful, it's predictable. When you start to let go of anxiety, when you start to calm your nervous system, your brain might actually sound an alarm. It thinks, I'm not anxious, I'm not safe. It sounds illogical, but the body doesn't know the difference between a real tiger in the bushes and a metaphorical tiger from your childhood. See if this resonates with you. Do you feel guilty when you finally relax? Do you feel like you should be worrying about something? That's the program fighting for its life. Your nervous system is making the decisions, not your mind. Before you even have a conscious thought about a situation, your system has already scanned for danger and chosen your response. Fight, flight, freeze, or fawn. You might think you're choosing to over-explain, people please, or shut down. You aren't, you're reacting. True power isn't about being strong, it's about teaching your body that the danger has passed. So how do we actually break this? It starts with identifying the trigger. Most of us run from our triggers. We try to suppress the anxiety. We try to numb it, or we try to fight it. But your triggers are not the enemy. They are actually diagnostic tools. They are showing you exactly where the old program is stored. When you feel that familiar tightness in your chest, or that urge to control a situation, just pause. Don't act, just observe. Ask yourself, what am I currently believing about myself that is creating this physical sensation? Is it the belief that you aren't enough? That if you don't control this, something bad will happen? That you're responsible for everyone else's emotions? That right there is the thread. And when you pull that thread, the whole pattern starts to unravel. Most people try to suppress their triggers. Don't. Your triggers are the map to your healing. They show you exactly where your subconscious is still holding onto an old protection mechanism. When you get triggered, you're not failing, you're being shown exactly where the ghost of your past is still living in your nervous system. Thank the trigger and then ask, what does this part of me think it's protecting me from? Now, we have to talk about what happens when we go deeper. We've covered the mind and the nervous system, but we also have to talk about energy. Sometimes anxiety isn't just about what happened to you. Some fear patterns are inherited. They are energetic imprints carried through generations. You can be the most grounded person in the room, and yet you might still feel a low-level hum of anxiety that you can't quite place. That is because our energy field acts like a blueprint. If your ancestors lived in survival mode, your field may have adapted to that same resonance. Healing here isn't about blaming the past, it's about clearing the field so you can finally be present in your own life. Sometimes the pattern isn't just psychological, it's energetic. If you've been working on your mindset for years and still feel the same blocks, you aren't looking in the wrong place, you're looking at the wrong layer. Your energy field is the blueprint of your experience. If the field is carrying fear, your life will reflect fear. Energy work isn't just about feeling good, it's about clearing the interference so you can manifest from clarity and not from conditioning. I want to invite you into a deeper space for a moment. So we've talked about the what and the why. You now understand that you have a nervous system that is trying to protect you based on old data. You understand that your triggers are maps. But understanding isn't healing. You can read every book on the planet and still stay stuck. And why? Because you're trying to understand the trauma with the same brain that created it. Healing requires an experiential layer. You need to move the energy, soothe the nervous system, and repattern the body in real time. This is why I'm hosting our next group healing session in 2 weeks. We aren't going to talk about anxiety, we're actually going to release it. So why does intellectual learning feel so different from real transformation? Because healing happens in the body and not in the books. You can understand why you have anxiety, but that doesn't stop the heart racing or the tightening of your chest. That requires exponential healing, a space where your nervous system can finally drop its armor. Don't just learn about the pattern, join us on Wednesday in 2 weeks to actually clear it. In our session on that Wednesday, we are going to dive into the roots. We will use specific somatic and energetic techniques to signal your body that the threat is gone. This isn't about fixing yourself. You aren't broken. This is about returning to your natural state. We are going to focus on breaking the subconscious worry loop that feels like you're normal. When you leave that session, the goal is for you to finally have some breathing room in your own skin. You are not an anxious person. You're a person who learned anxiety as a survival tool, but you don't need to survive anymore. You need to live. The program is not the person. Once you learn how to release the pattern at the root, the anxiety doesn't just get managed, it loses its power to dictate over your reality. You learned it, which means you can absolutely unlearn it. I thank you so much for being here, for being curious, for being willing to look at the parts of yourself that have been carrying the weight for so long. The invitation is open for Wednesday, the 17th of June. We'll be working through the ancestral anxiety release, clearing those generational imprints and the subconscious loops that we discussed today. So it's time to move on from surviving to conscious creation. You've been following a script for a long time. Let's see who you are when you finally put the script down. So click on the link in the description, join the session, and let's get to work on the root. I will see you there. Have you ever felt like you spent years